Have you ever thought about what keeps most people from reaching 85? It isn't just bad luck, it's five silent daily habits that quietly steal years of life after 60. But here's the surprising part: avoid even one, and research shows you can add a decade or more. Harvard tracked over 123,000 adults, and the seniors who broke free lived up to 14 years longer. In a moment, I'll walk you through each habit and the simple swaps that could change your future. Maybe you've felt it yourself. Climbing stairs takes longer, or evenings leave you drained. Many seniors fear these signs mean they're simply getting old. But the truth? Most people never see 85, not because of genetics, but because of choices repeated every single day. The good news is, it's never too late. Today we'll uncover the 5 deadly habits that silently age your body after 60, and I'll show you safe, science-backed ways to replace each one. And as always, check with your doctor before making any changes. 1. Physical inactivity, the rusting machine. After 60, one of the most dangerous things you can do is nothing. When movement disappears, your body begins to rust from the inside out. Picture a car that hasn't been driven for years. The engine stiffens, the paint dulls, and rust creeps across the frame. That same slow corrosion happens in your joints, your heart, even your brain when you stop moving. Scientists now call this inflammaging. It's what happens when harmful chemicals, IL-6 and TNF-alpha, rise too high, while protective ones fade away. This low-grade fire doesn't cause pain right away, but it silently damages blood vessels, weakens muscles, and clouds memory. And because our natural repair systems decline after 60, the damage stacks up even faster. One landmark study in the British Medical Journal tracked over 12,000 older adults for 2 decades. They found seniors who stayed active cut their risk of early death by 32%. Even better, those who only began exercising in their 60s managed to catch up to lifelong exercisers after 10 years. It's never too late. So, what does staying active really look like? Not marathons, not heavy gyms. The recipe is simple: 150 minutes a week of brisk walking, swimming, or cycling, 2 or 3 short strength sessions with bands or light weights, daily stretching, holding each pose for 30 seconds, and balance practice, tai chi, yoga, or even standing on one foot while brushing your teeth. Frank, one of my patients, is 72. He hadn't exercised since his 50s. When his doctor warned him his balance was slipping, he began with 20 minutes of walking each morning. 12 weeks later, Frank wasn't grabbing furniture to steady himself anymore. He smiled and said, "It feels like my legs woke up from a long nap." And that's the beauty of movement. Each step is like turning back the body's inflammation clock, too. Smoking, pouring gasoline on aging. If inactivity is like rust, smoking is like pouring gasoline on that rust and striking a match. Every puff releases a flood of toxic molecules called free radicals. They rip through your arteries, damage your lungs, and even shorten the protective caps on your DNA, your telomeres. That's why smokers often look and feel older than their years. In fact, a recent study in Frontiers in Aging followed more than 1,200 adults over 60. It found that seniors who continued smoking age biologically 5 to 10 years faster than non-smokers, even if their weight, diet, or exercise look the same. That's the hidden danger. You can eat healthy and still lose years if you keep lighting up. The good news is this: your body begins to repair itself the moment you stop. Within weeks, circulation improves. Within months, lung capacity rises. And after a few years, the risk of heart attack drops dramatically. Of course, quitting isn't easy. Nicotine hooks the brain like a stubborn guest who won't leave. But there are tools: nicotine patches or gum, counseling, support groups, even prescription aids that calm the craving. And most importantly, having a plan and support system, Linda, 68, had smoked for more than 40 years. She told me she felt too old to quit, but after struggling with constant shortness of breath, she joined a local support group. Within a year of quitting, she was back in her garden, trimming roses without gasping for air. Her daughter said, "Mom doesn't smell like smoke anymore. She smells like life." That's the transformation. Every cigarette takes away breath, clarity, and time. Every day without one gives a little of it back. Pause for a second. Have you or someone you love ever tried to quit smoking? What worked, or what made it hardest? Share your experience in the comments. I read everyone, and you never know who your story might encourage. 3. Poor diet and obesity. The inflammation. Furnace. Food should be our greatest medicine, yet after 60, the wrong foods quietly become fuel for disease. It doesn't happen overnight. It starts with small choices, a bag of chips here, a sugary drink there. Over time, these foods trigger insulin resistance. When your cells stop responding to insulin and sugar lingers in the blood, that sugar doesn't just sit harmlessly. It sparks tiny fires of inflammation that spread through your arteries, stiffen your joints, and even cloud your memory. Harvard researchers tracked over 123,000 adults for decades. Their finding was powerful. Avoiding habits like poor diet and obesity gave people 12 to 14 extra years of life. Imagine what you could do with an extra decade: more time with grandchildren, more seasons in your garden, more mornings waking up with energy instead of fatigue. The encouraging part? Every meal is a chance to flip the switch. When you swap processed snacks for whole foods, leafy greens, beans, omega-3 rich fish, your body calms that furnace. Instead of dirty fuel that leaves toxic smoke, you're giving your cells clean energy that runs steady and smooth. Rosa, a 70-year-old patient of mine, felt constantly heavy and drained. Her nightly routine was simple: TV and a bowl of salty chips. We replaced that with hummus and carrot sticks. It seemed too small to matter, but within 3 months her blood sugar stabilized, the weight around her middle eased, and she said, "I finally feel lighter in my own skin." That's the beauty of food. One swap at a time, you can silence inflammation and reclaim strength. And what comes next? Almost no one talks about it, yet it may be even more dangerous. 4. Excessive alcohol. The silent organ. Killer. Alcohol often sneaks in as a quiet companion, just a glass of wine with dinner, a drink to relax at night. But after 60, what feels harmless can quietly chip away at the very organs keeping you alive. Your liver is like the body's water filter. Every sip of alcohol pours toxins into that filter until it clogs, weakens, and struggles to clean your blood. Meanwhile, alcohol raises blood pressure, strains the heart, and even increases the risk of certain cancers. It doesn't scream danger right away. It whispers slowly: fatigue, poor sleep, creeping belly weight. Until one day, the damage shows up on a medical chart. A Global Heart Journal study in 2024 revealed something sobering. Heavy drinking raised the risk of early death by 27% in older adults. That's not from wild partying. That's from a steady pattern of nightly drinks. The fix doesn't mean giving it all up forever. For most seniors, it's about cutting back. Limit to 1 drink a day for women, 2 for men. Build in alcohol-free days each week to give the liver time to repair. Swap that evening glass for sparkling water with lemon or calming herbal tea. George, 74, used to end every night with 2 glasses of red wine. He felt sluggish in the morning, and his blood pressure kept climbing. When he cut back to weekends only, something shifted. Within 2 months, his blood pressure dropped naturally, and he laughed, saying, "I wake up clear-headed for the first time in years." That's the truth about alcohol. It steals energy and time in silence. But each day you choose less, you hand those years back to yourself. Quick question for you. Have you ever noticed a change in your sleep or energy after cutting back on alcohol? Type YES in the comments if you felt the difference, or share your story. You might inspire someone else to make that same shift. 5. Poor sleep and stress. The hormonal saboteurs. Sleep after 60 isn't just about rest, it's the body's repair shop. And when stress and poor sleep collide, that repair shop shuts down early. Here's what happens inside. Your stress hormone, cortisol, rises when you're anxious or overtired. Cortisol is meant to act like a floodlight in the night, helpful for short emergencies, but blinding when it stays on. Too much of it disrupts melatonin, the sleep hormone that tells your body it's time to heal. The result? You may fall asleep but wake up restless, with muscles unrepaired, immunity weaker, and the brain still foggy. A massive review in sleep medicine looked at over 15,000 older adults. Those sleeping fewer than 6 hours had a 20% higher risk of early death, not from one bad night, but from years of the body never fully recharging. So, how do we fight back? Start simple. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of consistent sleep. Dim the lights an hour before bed. Your brain sees brightness as a command to stay awake. Limit screens, which trick the mind into alert mode. And add calming rituals, a warm shower, light stretching, or even writing down tomorrow's worries so the mind doesn't rehearse them in the dark. Evelyn, 65, came to me saying she hadn't slept through the night in years. She would wake at 2 a.m., restless and frustrated. We tried a new bedtime rhythm, dimming her lights, sipping chamomile tea, and journaling for 10 minutes before bed. Within 3 weeks, she said, "I wake up clear for the first time in a decade." That's the hidden truth. When stress steals sleep, it steals life. But when you protect your nights, you give your days back their strength. Longevity isn't just a matter of luck or strong genes. It's built quietly, one choice, one habit, one small shift at a time. Maybe tonight you'll take a walk instead of sitting down right after dinner. Maybe you'll swap that late-night snack for something lighter. Or maybe you'll simply decide to protect your sleep like the treasure it is. Even changing just one of these habits can return years of strength, clarity, and independence. And those years aren't just numbers on a chart. They're mornings playing with your grandkids, afternoons in the garden, evenings laughing with people you love. So let me ask you, which of these 5 habits feels most urgent for you to change? Share it in the comments. I read every single one, and you never know who your story might inspire. And if this video gave you hope, I'd love for you to join our community here at Healthy Aging Hub. Hit subscribe because together we're building not just longer lives, but better ones.